known as impromptu speaking. Guests are also welcome to participate in this round as well. And finally, there will be evaluation of a round in which prepared speech will be evaluated, and other aspect of the session also will be evaluated by our Toastmasters. So with this, let us start today's session. So Raghu and Suzanne, I would like to take your opinion on should we take a speech first in the time when we are waiting for the speaker? Prepared speech we should take first. Is it fine?
Yes, if this other speaker is not here, that's appropriate.
Okay. So today, so we are starting with the prepared speech session. In prepared speech session, we have speaker Amanda today with us. Amanda is from China. She is working as a biostatistician in pharmaceutical firm, and she joined Toastmaster to improve her speaking skill. Her evaluator is Maya. So I would request Maya to introduce her speech project and objective for today's speech. Over to you, Maya. Yeah, Maya, you are on mute.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Actually, I don't have the content of her speech. I did not write it. It is there, but I was not aware that I need to tell about her speech.
No.
Could somebody help me out?
Yeah, Amanda, if I'm right, this is your level 1 speech 3, and she will be working on the feedback which she received on her last speech, and her speech title is Jiangwon Women's Script. Jiangwon Women's Script, Toastmaster Amanda. Over to you, Toastmaster Amanda.
Toastmaster Jay, could I make a request?
Yeah, sorry.
If you could,
yes, please.
The role players, like the grammarian and the timer, so that way I could give the word of the day too, as Amanda gets prepared, so give some time.
Yeah, Amanda, before we start, I would request Ashwin, who is a grammarian for the day today, to introduce the word of the day.
Thank you.
Toastmaster.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster Jay. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. It's backwards. I'm going to keep you guys awake today. All right. As grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay attention to close attention to all the speakers, listening carefully to their body language and usage. I'll take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, or sayings or thoughts. And I did put the word of the day in the chat, and the word of the day is grandiose. Grandiose. I'm sure you've heard it before. So whoever uses it the most gets a new car. Yeah, I got your attention now, right? There you go. Just kidding. But use it as you can. That'll be great. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster of the day, Jay.
Yeah. So with this, I think we can start the speech of Toastmaster Amanda. Toastmaster Amanda, over to you. Jiangwon Women's Script, Toastmaster Amanda.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Amanda from China. As you know, China has a long history. So there are different kinds of culture, like tea culture, table culture, Chinese medicine culture, so on and so forth. And today I'm going to introduce you a very special one, the culture related to women only. So I'm going to share my screen and wait. Okay, so this kind of Chinese culture, the formal name is Jiangyong Women's Squid. In Chinese pinyin, it is called 女书, which means women writing. I'm going to introduce 4 parts under this topic to reflect the comments or feedback from the last speech. All right. So you can see the general idea. You can get a general idea from the right photo of this slide. This is women squid, women 女书. 女书 is different kinds of Chinese character. It is different. And 女书 is a very special language because it is creative for women and it is created only for women. So this language is created by women for women. So let's explore why China generate this unique women's cultures in a small place. Go back to the long history of Chinese culture. 女书 originated in many years ago in Jiangyong. Jiangyong is a very small place in Hunan province. It is, I think it is quite poor today. It is just one of thousands of Chinese towns in China. So it is this place is very normal because it is quite poor. There just a very small town, average small town. But of course, I think it is very unique because here in this very small place, a very unique culture was created by the local women. So I think we need to find out the reason why generate here. We need to discuss the Chinese traditional culture. According to Chinese culture, many years ago, the idea of men were superior to women lasted for many years until the new China founding. So under this background, women were not allowed to go to the school. They are not allowed to have the education. In other places of China, women accept this fate. They take it as granted. They seem they are not qualified to have education. But here, the women here is very different. They don't accept it. I think it is also due to the local custom, because the local custom is very special here. There is very, I think it is very abnormal custom here. The man and the wife cannot live together until they have the first baby, which means the wife have their unique and separated social rooms by their own. Yeah. So under that situation, I think gradually women's squid was generated. So you can see, let's go to talk a little bit about the characteristic of this women's squid. You can see the right side, the squid is very beautiful. I think it is long and very unique. So this women's squid is also called long leg squid, mosquito squid, and ant squid, according to the share of this kind of women's squid. And this culture, women culture, was only inheritance from the mother to her daughter, or the aunt to her niece, or just discussed within the women circle. Today, this kind of culture, including women squad, is almost disappeared. Yeah, only a few can speak it. So it is there is a high risk that we cannot find anybody to speak it anymore. But we cannot deny it is one part of Chinese culture, and in the history, it represents the rebellions and creativity of women at that time. It represents women want to their voice be heard at that time. Thank you. This ends for my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Amanda. Thanks. What a grandiose history about China you have covered. Yeah, so now let us come to the next section for table topics for giving us a practice of impromptu speeches today. I'll request Toastmaster Mary to have a table topics. So I would invite Toastmaster Mary for conducting table topics. Over to you, Toastmaster Mary. Your voice is not clear. Hi, Mary. There is a lot of disturbance. Maybe. Can you change speaker or something? We are not getting your voice. So let us wait for some time. You are on mute, Mary. No, there is a lot of sound disturbance, I think. Can you try without the speakers?
Better now?
Yeah, yes, we are getting
Okay,
your voice.
great.
Okay.
All right. It's a short session because I was expecting distinguished Toastmaster Srinivas to be here. It's a mini debate, and the topic is relating to our theme for the day, which is personality. I'm going to call on 4 volunteers to come forward, please. If you don't, I'm just going to call you. Could 4 attendees please come forward? Okay, we got Maya, 1.
Donna,
Donna is there.
Mary.
D. Mary.
Anybody? Oh, Marie, great. Yes. 2 more.
Oh.
Very quickly.
Donna,
Amanda.
Maya,
Amanda.
and Amanda.
Amanda and Diana. Okay, great. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you the topic. Maya and Marie would be in the affirmative, and the other 2 members would be in the negative. The topic here is, do personality tests and EQ have more value than IQ and a CGPA of flat 4? I repeat, do personality tests and EQ have more value than IQ, and CGPA 4 flat. I would like the affirmative first speaker to come forward and speak for 2 minutes on this motion. The first person would be Maya. Maya, you're the first affirmative. You are supporting this motion that personality tests and EQ have greater value than IQ and CGPA 4 flat. You are supporting the motion. Okay, Maya, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mary. Thank you, all the distinguished Toastmasters, the evaluator, guest, and the other speakers. The topic is about the personality test, and I need to speak about the speak in affirmations. I did not get this topic, but then if I want to speak about my personality, the affirmations about my personality is that I'm very positive in whatever I do. First of all, I have a blank. I go anywhere, wherever I need to learn, I do it with the blank slate. So I empty my cup. I don't keep anything in my head. And I try to learn whatever I put in the given situation. And it helped me a lot. I've seen over the past 1 year, this has improved me a lot. Every day I've become a better version of myself. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Jean Marie King, sorry, we're going to the negative first speaker, Diana. Diana Keeler, what's your take on this?
Hello, everyone. So I believe that personality tests and EQ, the emotional quotient, are not as important as IQ or the intelligence quotient. I believe this to be true because what we know is more important than what we feel or how we react to other people and to circumstances. And the personality tests and the EQ are more concerned with, how we deal with other people and how we interact and deal with certain circumstances. We go to school to become intelligent, and the more we learn, the higher our IQ goes. And I believe that emotional intelligence can't be grown as quickly and as easily as the intelligence quotient. Therefore, measuring the EQ through our personality tests is not going to be as effective or as useful as measuring our intelligence quotients. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Diana. Thank you. That's a standard that's been taken for quite a bit. But now EQ is coming in a big way, and everyone's big on EQ and personality tests. Time will tell us whether it's the EQ that's going to work or it's the IQ. Thank you, Diana. You've got a point there. A few points, actually. All right, let's come back to the affirmative. DeMarie. The personality tests have more value than IQ. DeMarie?
You are mute.
Thank you for that question, Madam Table Topics Master. I firmly believe that the personality test supersedes, and your emotional quotient supersedes anything, because no matter how much learning ability you have, no matter how much knowledge you have, if you can't impart that learning and that knowledge, and share it with other people. And if you don't have the discernment, if you don't have the mindset to be able to communicate with others, it won't do you any good. In order to be able to be effective with the information that you have to have the personality that would allow you to reach out and touch other people. And all of that goes back to your mindset. Where is your mindset? What do you think? How affirmative are your affirmations so that you can come out as a positive-minded individual and express all those phenomenal thoughts and all that information that you have stored inside yourself? Because to have it stored there and not be able to transfer that to a meaningful conversation, to a meaningful dialogue with someone else. If you're this intelligent person and you're in love with someone, you can't even express that love if you don't have the emotional quotient that would allow you to do that. So I firmly believe that the personality of the individual supersedes everything, and that relates back to that person's mindset. Madam Toastmaster.
Wow, you stood up for the motion, Dee Marie. You did. So we can see now that that's 2 against 1. Let's listen to our next speaker, Donna Nadira, who's going to be going against the motion and believes that IQ has more value than EQ. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Table Topics Master. So if you take a look at how easily we can quantify IQ and smartness in that way, I think it says something about how efficient it is to calculate and measure how capable we are. If you take an IQ test and say you have a good result, it will reflect on how well you will do in life, whether it be things at work or how you solve problems outside of work. And usually most people who do make it well in IQ tests do well in being around other people, in saying their thoughts and being eloquent, because they go along with each other. They do not contradict each other. So if someone does well on an IQ test, it will reflect on many aspects of his or her life and in many other aspects where he or she will have that in practice. That's why I believe that the IQ does matter more than EQs, because EQs are not quantifiable. They don't have an exact set of rules and scores for you to be able to measure properly who and what you are and how well you can do things. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Wow, ladies, you have got great points there. I'm going to do a little bit of a session while we are still waiting for Srinivas. I'm going to have a voting. Remember, it's a debate, right? So let's see how the audience feels about the speakers and their viewpoints. And that would be active listening, ladies and gentlemen. For all those who believe that personality tests are a sure win situation, please put a heart. Those who think that IQ is more important, please raise your hand. Let's see who wins here. Toastmaster of the day, could you please do a count on the survey and give us the results?
Sorry. Yeah. Are you asking me to give the results? I think as a table topic master, I think. Okay. Okay.
How many hearts and how many hands?
Yeah.
So
hands,
we know which one
okay.
won. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hands, and 1, 2, 3, 4. It is constantly changing. I don't. Now we are having more hands and less hearts. So hands are winning. Hands are winning.
Okay. All right. So we still believe that IQ is more of value than EQ. Is that what what this poll is showing? That IQ
Yes,
is more
yes.
important than EQ? Okay.
Yeah, more number
Well,
of times.
my stand on that is I think there should be a balance. There are a lot of nice people and they don't necessarily have to be, yeah, you're right, Diana. It's very situational. It's very subjective. Yes, it's very subjective. There are times when we have to use our EQ. There are times when we have to use your IQ. So thank you very much, everyone. And we're moving on to the next segment. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Mary, for making it so engaging and in a very unique way. You conducted a Toastmaster table topic session. So now let us have a tasting of a DISC personality. See, this next workshop which we were going to have was discover your true potential and achieve great success in personal and professional life. So there is a tool which is called DISC tool. It is powerful tool that can help to unlock our full potential by providing insight into our unique behavioral style, communication preference, and strength. So by understanding DISC profile, we can better understand ourselves and others, and which leads to more effective communication, collaboration, and achievement. So in the time while we are waiting for the speaker, I'll paste this link on the chat, which will take around 10 minutes of our time, and I would request to take the test, which will help us to understand our DISC profile, our own DISC profile. So I'm putting that link in the chat box. Yeah, our keynote speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Srinivas is here. So I would invite him before we take the test. He is a distinguished Toastmaster, and today he is going to teach us on Discover tool, and will be giving us teaching on discovering our true potential. So before we start the test, Toastmaster Srinivas, welcome to our meeting. Before I put this test tool, I would like you to give the your introduction and also something about DISC test. Toastmaster Srinivas, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. One moment.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Yes. Stage is for you.
Yes, thank you so much. My apologies. Good evening, everyone. And from Malaysia, it is a good morning from here. All right. Today, what we're going to learn is that we're going to learn about DISC, which is known as DISC Personality Assessment Test. I believe that TM Raghu has a link.
Yeah, I am having link for that test tool.
Okay.
I was about to put that in the chat. Yes, I have mentioned is
good.
It's
so
there.
What we're going to do is that please look at the link, and as you can look at the link, it takes about a couple of minutes for you to do a free test, free DISC test. This, of course, this link has nothing to do with Maxwell or me. It's just a free website there. And if you are there, you will see, let me, can I be allowed to share my screen? Thank you. Sorry. Mr. Host, could you please allow me to share my screen?
Yes, I'm trying. Toastmaster Susan, can you give rights to share the screen?
Yes, I am attempting to find the speaker in the list, so bear with me.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. So as you click this link, that you will open to this particular website of DISC personality testing, which I believe you can see on my screen now. In this particular, it says that click here to start your free DISC test. So click here. Of course, it asks you to put your details and everything so that it can email you the things. And once you put your submission, it takes about 3 minutes or 5 minutes maximum, a few minutes only for you to do the test. And once you've done the test, it will tell you about your personality based on DISC. So those who have done it, which is very good, but if you have not done it, can we do it now? Is that okay? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we are suggesting them to do it now.
Okay, thanks, TMJ. Okay, so let's do that now, and then we'll continue after that.
So how much time can we allow? Around 7 to 8 minutes?
No, I think 3 to 4 minutes is good enough.
Okay. Okay.
3 to 4 should be more than enough.
Okay. Are we done with the test or we need more time? What do you suggest?
Jana,
All
you are
attendees?
EINS. I can relate to that. So not to worry, we will go through it in a while. Let us everyone finish it.
Okay.
Diana is DSC. Chester, good to see you, Chester. Yes, you are SNC, no doubt about that one. Yes, Diana, I'm a John Maxwell certified. That helps. That's great, Diana. So did you attend the recent IMC? Oh, that's cool. I haven't been there yet. We have a few people here. I think Fatima is a John Maxwell certified here in this group.
Hey, you're going to love IMC when you finally go. I've done 2.
Oh, that is good. I'm really hoping to attend that. Ashwin is IND. All right, that's great.
It describes you kind of exactly what my personality is, which is funny.
Ashwin IND. So you start reading about it, Ashwin. You feel that there's a lot more there where you can connect.
Yeah.
Or relate to.
Yeah, friendly, quick-witted, outgoing, and driven. I don't know about that.
Okay, that is IND. Good. Is everybody almost done? So you can continue with that. Because I know those who have done are very keen to carry on.
It's like taking a test, Srinivas, you know. It's like, this is the older generation. It's like, we don't take tests anymore. We got to read more. We're not young
Yes.
like you.
Great to hear that, Satish.
Funny, everyone's different.
Should be. I'll be worried if they're not. Oh, wow. Rishikesh, you are IDSC. Okay. That's handful.
He went off the chart. It's like extra letters on the side.
No, he's got that all. Raghu is INS. Okay, so let's give a minute so that everybody, I believe by that everybody will be done. And once you're done and we start after 1 minute, is that okay, TMJ?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
How about you, TMJ?
I am CD. I had done it.
Yeah. Yes, yes, indeed. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can begin now. I'm sure it maybe you're just about to finish it or not, but that's fine. Let's continue. All right, thank you so much. So what I'm going to share about in next 30 to 40 minutes will be what does these letters mean to you and me? How does it affect your life and affect the lives of people around you? And more importantly, how knowing your personality can help. Now, as a John Maxwell trainer, I went for DIC as well because I'm very fascinated by people's personalities. I'm very fascinated by how people think. I've always been curious about what makes them do the things they're doing it, especially in different scenarios, how different people make different decisions, even they all are being friends or relatives or family, but how they think is very different. So let's begin. Chess is one of my favorite games, and I believe that by now you can see my screen. Now, if you have ever played chess, you know that every single piece has a different way it manages it. Every single way has a different way it plays it. Am I right? Are there any chess fans or chess enthusiasts in this room? Anybody? Okay, Satish is there. All right. So Satish, which is your favorite player here?
I'm sorry, you're asking me who is my favorite player?
Yep. Not in real chess game, among these ones, among the pieces.
Okay. Okay. I like the horse.
Why is that so?
Unlike other pieces, it has its own direction. It can be quite deceptive as well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. I know Rishikesh raised a hand. Rishikesh, what about you?
For me too, horse is a good piece because the permutation combination by which horse can be used in this chessboard is amazing. So that's why I like horse much more. The way it can trap the opposition is fascinating.
Okay, that is interesting there. Okay, Ashwin says, Chester says the queen. I believe it could be the reason because it has powers. It has almost all the powers except what horse can do. Rest everything a queen can do that makes it more powerful in many ways. Now, you all have different reasons and all. Similarly, each of us, we are born with certain abilities and we are born with certain things which comes naturally to us. And what happens is that when it comes naturally to us, it makes a lot more easier. Now, John Maxwell talks about law of awareness. He said, to know yourself, if you want to grow more, you got to know yourself more. And as you know yourself more, you're able to grow because then you're able to focus on things which you are made up of. Very often people focus on things which are their weaknesses or not part of their strength zone. And they are pushing themselves, beating themselves to become better because somebody told me you need to improve their weaknesses. And very often what happens is that because they're so busy with fixing their weaknesses, they don't focus on their strength zone. So law of awareness is connected with DIC. How, if you're aware of your personalities, then you know where does your strength comes naturally. Because what comes naturally to you is a challenge and it's a burden. It's an hassle for other people. It doesn't come naturally to you. Some of you in this group, it's so natural to you to walk into a room and start talking to people. It's right. Now, for example, TM Raghu, he can go around the world and attend all the club meetings. It's not a big deal for him. He's just like, so what? Just go click the link and attend all the club meetings. It's very natural for you. But for others, if you don't have a friend in the club, if you're not invited specifically to the club, you will not attend the meeting. It just doesn't come that way. For some of you, numbers, they just click. You don't know how. You are just good with it. You are just calculative. You're able to calculate. You're able to think. You're able to analyze. And you don't really put much effort in that. But for other people, analyzing the whole thing, doing something in detail or being detail oriented is not easy. It doesn't come naturally. It doesn't come easy for some of you. Okay, thank you, Padma Kumar. Keep your eyes on the king. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to look at these 4 personalities. So let's just go look at the overview of what it means. Now, each of you, when you're done test, you had minimum 2 letters. Very few will have only 1 letter. You had minimum 2, 3, some of you even had 4, but that's fine. What we're going to do is that we're going to focus on first 2 letters. Your first 2 letters is either D and I or IND or INC, it's D and S, either of this combination. So the first letter will call your primary style. Okay, and second will be the secondary style. What does it mean there? So let me look at the chat box. I look at different people. For example, Catherine here, the latest one who mentioned she is IND. Okay, or she only mentioned D and I. Vamsi mentioned S and D. Raghu mentioned INS. Rishikesh mentioned all 4 of them. Okay, but it's mainly is I. Then comes to other D, S, and I. So let's look at what it means. Now, if you look at this screen, then you look at up, it says outgoing. So if your primary is D and I, it means your results, your report starts with either D or I. By nature, you're an outgoing person. It means what? It means you have no problems going around in the middle of the crowd among strangers, being outgoing, being extrovert, talking to people, making friends. It just comes to you. It's not a hassle. It's not a pressure. It's not a burden to you. It just comes to you. So you are, if your primary is D and I, you're an outgoing person. However, on other way, if your primary is CNS, like for example, I know Chester because he's from my district, and Chester, yours is CNS, right?
Yes.
Yes, and even Vamsi is S and D. So when your primary is C or S, which means that by nature, you are a bit of reserved person. You still go out, you still talk to people, but D and I will go out and be all the way out to anybody and everyone. They're totally fine with that. They don't really care much difference between a stranger and a person they know. But CNS would prefer to start communicating with people they are comfortable with, safe with, or they are feeling that I'm okay with these people, I know these people, or they are a friend of friend, then yes, they are more, because by nature, they are reserved. CNS are one of the people who will walk into a party, sit in one corner, find a familiar face, and they will hang out with the face for as long as possible. D and I will walk around throughout the party, make some friends, get some connections, and by end of the day, they will have friends with everybody in the room. That works if your primary is D and I. Now, the second thing to observe is that if your personality has I and S, then look at the right side, you are more of people-oriented. What does it mean that? When you are a people-oriented person, it means that you think from a people's perspective. You are more towards a feeling person. You're able to think and feel. So when you make your decisions, it's always about how does the people feel around me? How do I feel around these people? And what do I feel about it? So it's more towards driven because you feel something and your decisions somehow, even they're logical and practical, but they have the element of how do I feel about the people? How do I feel? But if your primary personality is D and C, okay, you're a task-oriented person. What does it mean that you just want to get things done before you move to the next task? So everything you do is because you want to get things done, and that's what you want to do. Donna, okay. I'm looking at Donna. Donna, you are D and I. Yes, dear Donna, you are one of the person I'm sure that you get things done, and teachers will love you because you're outward, you're extrovert, you're able there, and you have a little bit of S which cares for people. So guess what? For a teacher, that's amazing because you'll get all our things done. Whatever given to you, you will get it done, and she will love you for that. All right. And you will take charge when it's needed for you to take charge because of your D personality there. Now, that's what happens when we have this mind. And of course, secondary is also there, plays a bigger part in our personalities as well. However, it depends on how much primary and secondary takes control of our life. We are more inclined towards that. Those who have 3 letters or 4, you do have all of them. Of course, everybody has a combination of these 4. Is how effectively. Sometimes some of you are D and I at work, because your work requires you to drive and lead and do things. At home, you're a different person. You're more to a softer person. Why? Because that's where is your core strength. You're more reserved at home or different places. So you may have slightly difference between at work, at a career-based places, or sometimes you're slightly different on a personal relationship-based, because you feel that, hey, I can be myself when I'm not with my colleagues, or I'm not with my businesses owners and friends and all those people. I can be myself. So sometimes there is a conflict there. It's okay to have it, but not too much. And that's how we're going to learn about it, how these conflicts make who we are. Number thing, let's look at a D. So those who started with D, even your D is secondary or primary, you are a driver. Now you may feel that, yeah, but I don't. No, you can be a happy, smiling person and you can still drive. You can still be a person who can really get things done, because that's how you are inbuilt. People are like, what does it mean inbuilt? It means that it's part of you. Now, how does somebody form either of these DISC? Okay. Number one, you had in your DNA, it's from one of your parents. You had it, you were born with it. That is one part of it. Second part of it, as you were growing up, you had a role model and you look forward to that particular role model. And then what happened is that you were connected with that particular person and you admired that particular person. And because of that, you are able to focus and be the kind of person. That was your role model when you were growing up. When I say growing up, I'm talking about 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere between you turn into teen. Before you were 13, you had this role model. And that role model had one of these personalities. Now, it could be a real person in your life. It could be a fictional role model, right? Like, for example, as I was growing up, I admired Alexander the Great a lot. I used to watch his movies, TV series, and a lot of things. And I admired the way he would conquer things and all. So I have a D in me. My first is I, second is D. And when I go into a mode of leading a team and all, and I become very driven, then I'm like the Alexander the Great. No mercy, just go and get things done. But that's my secondary. And that comes in me, right? It suddenly becomes very strong when I'm in charge, when I want to get things done. Otherwise, I'm a friendly, nice person with the I personality. Now, the third important, first is your DNA, second is your role model, third is the place you were raised up. What does it mean? Your childhood. You were raised up in your grandparents' house, the people around there, the environment, what they valued, the school, the primary school. If you're raised up in a city, or you're raised up in a small village, or you're raised up in a countryside, it all depends on that. And that affected the way you perceive things. And that combination of all these three things became part of your personality because of the people around you, the DNA of one of your parents, and the place you were raised up. The environment affected you so much that you are who you are. That doesn't mean that it's your strengths or weaknesses. It just means that these things come naturally. So if you're a D, before going, disclaimer, none of them is good, none of them is bad. They are just personalities. Okay, they are part of you. Don't feel that, oh, this is better than that. Is I better than D and D better than S? Nothing like that. They all have their own strengths. And the whole purpose of this particular next session is to understand what are the strengths and how it naturally comes to you and what you can do about it. Okay. Yes, exactly, Diana. That's how you are wired. All right. So these are the things which D, the general thing, what they have. Number one, D people are very direct. And they don't mean to be rude. They are direct. That's it. It just comes to them. They are direct. Why I'm saying that? Because they just feel that, hey, being direct is saving time, is efficient, is productive, get things done. So can I be direct? And yes, they are direct. Other personalities don't feel the same. Right? I'll tell you in a moment what other personality feels about you. But when you are direct, you are decisive. You are able to make decisions. So this is one of the personalities in the world. If you have a crisis and you have a D personality, listen to the person. Because they are quick, they are decisive, best or not, they will make decisions. They will get you out there. They won't ponder about it. They don't overthink about it. They just get into it because it's natural for them to make decisions and get things done. Which also means that they come with high ego strength because they're able to make decisions. They are very upfront. They're very direct. They also are having with a high ego strength. It comes now. And why I'm saying it's strength for them, that's how they think. They think if I have it, so what? I'm getting things done. Let's move on. Because they're very task-oriented, not people-oriented. That makes them problem solver. So when you go to a D person, they will tell you exactly what to do. They don't ask you much questions. They give you solutions. Why? You have a problem? They will give you a solution. Why? For them, if you have a problem, fix it, move on to the next problem. Why waste time? Why ponder? Why linger on it? Just get it done and move on to the next person. And that's how they are. That also makes them a risk taker. So they are willing to take risk because they believe that to achieve something, you need to take risk. Yeah, you might fail, that's fine. Then there's a lesson to learn. But they believe that it's okay to take risk. Now, this is how D are from a positive aspect. And what happens is that when they do all those things, people really look up to them because they will initiate. D are not the follower people. They are the driven, they are the dominant. So in every group, they don't need title to lead. They just jump in, they start talking, they start making decisions. And guess what? They kind of think that it's their turn to lead. They don't really even ask who's the leader and all. It just comes naturally to them. So what happens? When they start doing that, this is how other personalities start looking at them. They are seen as people who are overstepping the authority. Right? Because they feel that, hey, why are you stepping on our authority? And guess what? D are not overstepping it. They just want to get things done. And they feel that faster you get things done, task is finished, everybody is happy. So they have a good intention, but how they come across to S and I and C, you are trying to take over my job. You're trying to do my job. You're trying to lead, but that's not you. I'm in charge here. Which leads them that they argue because they come across as a person who wants to get things done. And it kind of feels like in an argumentative mode. Mauzan, if your personality says D in the beginning in your result, then yes, you are D. That means you are a dominant person by nature. Now you may be aggressive or passive, depends on other personality, but yes, we are. It doesn't mean that they have to be aggressively dominant. Some people are passive, but they're still very dominant. It also means that D usually dislikes routine. Why? Because they feel that not necessarily we need to follow routine. They can, but not necessarily they will follow their routine. So what happens is that they will try this. Remember, they are risk taker, they are self-starter, they initiate things and all. So if they feel that taking a different routine might be better or faster or more helpful or get things done earlier, they will change the route. They are able to change the route because one of the challenges of D is that they try to do a lot of things. All right, Maya, looks like you have all four of it. So let's start with the first DI. And they try to attempt too much. Why? Before they finish a task, they want to jump into another task. Now they will finish it. That's one thing I'm confident about D people. They will finish a task, but they are very ambitious to try to do this and this and this. Sometimes that burns them down. Sorry. So these are the things which are possible weaknesses. And why do I say possible? It doesn't apply to every individual. For most of them, yes. I've seen most of the Ds, and almost everybody has this particular thing. Some have at a lower level, some at a very high, obvious level, but they all have it. Now, the next personality is I. So those people who started your personality with I. Michael, I'll come back to this question in a while. It's a little bit more than yes and no. I people are influencing, inspiring. Now, these are the people who are the life of the party. They are fun, they're talkative, they enjoy, they like telling stories. They feel that it's great. Now D have this fear of people will take advantage of them. That's what D personality always like to stay in control, because if they are in control, things are in control. So they will try to take control whenever they are, so that things are better managed according to them. I are the people who want to have fun. If there's no fun, don't count me in. That's it. They need to have fun in everything. They need to enjoy the event, the party, the whatever work you are given to them. If they are bored, they are not keen about it. Now, I know that very well. So what happens? By nature, they're enthusiastic. By nature, they walk in, they are friendly, they are talking, they are joking around, they are making friends. And so those who are primary or secondary or it naturally comes to you. You are a fun person. You are an inspiring person. You will always have story to tell, especially if your primary is I, you will always have stories to tell. Your answer won't be yes and no. You can't just say straightforward. You can't be that direct. You will be able to tell a lot of things because you'll enjoy telling stories. You have fun telling jokes and telling what exactly happened yesterday, this morning, what happened, what was the story behind it. It just comes naturally to you. That makes you a great storyteller, sometimes too long-winded storyteller. But either way, you're still a good storyteller. Okay, that is I. And that's the reason because they're very enthusiastic, they trust people easily. Remember, they are a feeling person. They feel for people and they trust people easily. Next part would be that makes them very optimistic as well. These are the people who are very positive. The world is falling down. They're like, no problems. It's okay. It can be fixed. This will happen. That's okay. It's fine. They're very positive. Things go wrong. Things fall down. Things fall apart. But they were like, it's okay. It can be fixed. It can be fixed. We can do something about it. We will do something about it. They are naturally very optimistic. Even everything is falling apart because they just believe that in people. They believe in goodness of the people. They believe it's okay. So I are the people you don't find them stressed. But D and other personality get stressed looking at I personality because I are playing it very cool. And it's not like they are not stressed. They may be stressed, but you will never see them stressed. Now they are like this duck where the feet must be waddling around, but they're smiling, they're happy outside, and they're trying to fix things and all. But maybe in the bottom, under the water, they must be screaming like anything. But outside, they are fun. Don't worry. They believe in that. They're like, it's okay. It's fine. And they are, or they can be very persuasive. Why? Because they are very people person. They're very people connected, and they share from their ideas and what is important, and they tell you stories, they tell you a lot of things. So people are good people when it comes to sales, when it comes to talking, when it comes to people communication, anything with people skills, it comes naturally to I. Why? Because they just naturally do those things there. Those are the I personalities. Yeah, that leads them, they're very talkative. So it's a good and bad thing. Sometimes it's good, they can talk a lot. Sometimes bad because, yeah. So if you know you're an I person, it's very easy that either primary or secondary, if you know you're an I person, it means that most likely you have gone over time. Now I need to ask my timer, what's my time, how much time I have? Please put in the chat box. It's naturally for me. So timer, please let me know how many minutes I have. I feel I have 15 more minutes or 10 more minutes. That will be helpful. And they are talkative, and because they can tell you stories and they can go on and on and on. So if you are a Toastmaster and at 35 minutes, Susan, if you can confirm, I believe I have 10 more minutes or 15 more minutes. Can you let me know how much balance time I have? 25. Okay, sounds great. Thanks, Susan. So now, when they are talkative, not only they get over time, but if you're a Toastmaster and you are into contest, the biggest challenge for an I is not preparing a new speech. It's ending the speech on time. Somehow, you know why? At 7th minute, suddenly you have a great idea that you want to add to the speech. You have prepared the entire speech. And now you want to add one more story. Now you want to add that one more quote. Now you want to add a little bit touch on it, make it more flamboyant and make it more interesting, make it more fun, because you feel like, it doesn't have that great closing. Let me add one more thing. And that one more thing will give you disqualified, which I got not just once, a couple of times, in contest twice, and other places, yes. And people are like, but that was not part of the script. I know, but I just a strong feeling that I want to do this thing. And they're like, okay. And sometimes when you're speaking to I, people even wonder, where were you going about? Because their 5-minute speech can be 20 minutes keynote, and they're going round and round and round, trying to make a point. And you're like, so what's your point? And that's one of the reasons I joined Toastmasters, because my friend used to ask me, so what's your point? I still don't get it after 5 minutes. What are you trying to convey the message? because I'll go around telling all the stories before I hit the point. Why? I enjoy talking, you know, so getting paid for talking is a dream come true, but it just comes naturally. So when you're an I, remember, this is where and how it matters, because all other three personalities, they value time more than you. D wants to get things done. So when I is talking a lot, or D doesn't have the patience to listen to the whole story. They just said, get things done and move on. All right. And S is listening to you because they're cool and calm and steady people, you know, but doesn't mean they're going to listen too long. And C has no time for you. So we're going to learn about it, how these cross personalities affect you. And that makes I impulsive. So I are the one who get very excited about things and they want to buy. That's it, because they're very feeling people. They feel it, they're like, yes, sounds great. So it's easy to convince I person to get into something. And they will jump into it without thinking what it takes to be there. That's why I will usually promise you things very easily. Many ask me, I say, yeah, sure, I'm available, done. That's it. I don't have to think too much. As long as it's nothing blocking, that's my simple thing. It's not blocking my time. I'm available, I'm available. That's it. And that's how most of the I people will do that, especially when though it's for the people, they will do it. Finally, that makes them emotional as well. Feeling oriented people. So you are deciding based on your feeling. Why? Because I wants to have fun. And there's so much with people oriented. They enjoy being around people, with people, online, offline, doesn't really matter to them. That's why they are able to connect with people easily and even flow with them. Now, these are the possible weaknesses of I. By nature, because they're I, they want to be like a peacock, the center of attraction and everything. So they are more concerned by popular than having results. Results is their not number one thing. So if the I person is enjoying it, that's good enough for them. They don't really care about the results, right? And that's why they are not attentive to the deals. If you tell an I person, hey, can you do this and this and this and that? They're like, sure. And they will not make a single note. They will not write down anything. So if you're dealing with I, and if you need something very detailed, you have to really make sure they write everything, they put down and they show to you and they follow everything. Because details are boring for I. Details are a waste of time, even though they believe details are good, but deep down, it doesn't come naturally to them. So they don't want to pay attention to details. So any detailed work, you do not want. You do not want a surgeon who is in very high I. Why? There's always something he'll forget. There'll always one step he'll miss out. So you don't want a detailed person job to be an I personality. You remind a D, you definitely want a C if somebody is your details, but not an I personality. What I also do is that they are very generous, I would say, that with the gestures and facial expressions. And some of them even feel that they are drama queens, they're drama kings, they're very dramatic. Guess what? It just comes naturally to them. They don't have to practice much. They just get onto the stage and they just come and they express how they feel about the thing, the world, and this and that. They're so passionate about it. We're like, what's in with you? I said, I don't know. So these I people are, because they are outward. So remember, when they go to crowd, they get the energy from the crowd because they're outgoing people. CNS, the moment they are with the crowd, they start losing the energy. They're losing the energy, the battery goes down. I get charged. So you can be an I person who has a long day. And you're like, I'm physically exhausted. I'm mentally exhausted. I've got not a single drop of energy left. Take them to a group of people with friends or people they know, or even strangers. And they sit, they start talking, they start telling about the day, and suddenly you see the energy is revived in a minute or few minutes. That's it. They're like, how is that possible? It happens with I. They get charged, they get recharged when they are with people. They would have had in sleep for 12 to 24 hours, doesn't matter. But when they are with people, they get charged. And listening is not the biggest strength. So if you want I to listen, you have to really make them sit and listen. It's not an easy task because it naturally doesn't come to them. Because they are very excited about what's next, what going to do here, what's about this, what about that, what I want to tell. They're more towards that. So guess what? They only listen when it's convenient to them, when it makes sense. If it's not fun listening, if they're bored, their mind shuts off. They must smile at you. They're very, very friendly people. But their mind shuts off if it is boring. Remember, if it is boring, I am not interested. So this is S. Now, 69% of the world has S, which means these are the people who are the peacemakers of the world. So if you have S, it's a very good thing. You are not only people-oriented person, you are the person in the team which holds the team together. These are the people who are very caring. They are very people-oriented. They are not just feeling-based, but they really feel for people. So these are the people who hold the world together. We call them the peacemakers. Now, what is S? S also are not only stable and steady, they believe in security. What does it mean by security? They are the people, they are the people who want to make sure that everybody's taken care of. They are the motherly people in your group. Everything matters to them when they feel secure. If they're not secure, they are threatened. So they want to make sure everything is secure. That makes them a great listener. They will listen. These are the people in every team who will sit and listen. They will tell. So they are the best friends of D, because D is very driven. S will sit and listen to their ideas, their plans, their directions, and not feel threatened. D gets threatened by I, because they're too high energy and too passionate and too talkative. But they love people who are S. Why? Because they will listen to them and they will not cheat them. Because S are the most trustworthy among all these personalities. So if you are S, your secrets are safe. Because for them, if I release the part, it's very crucial for them. S is not dominant unless you also have a D. Okay, unless you have a different combination with S, then you might become a dominant. It could be primary or secondary, right? They are a team player because they are able to connect with everybody. And as a good listener, that makes them a great player. They may not have greater strengths, but they are there to hold the team together. So it's very good to have S. Yes, S are possessive because they are very people-oriented and they're reserved. The things they hold on are very close to them. They won't let it go, which means that S can become aggressive if you're hurting the people they love. You can hurt an S, you can make fun of S, they're fine, they'll just forgive you and move on. But if you make fun of S, the S's families and their friends, they are the sleeping tiger, you don't want to wake them up. Because you don't hurt the people they love. You can hurt them, they'll forgive you, but they will not forgive you if you hurt the people they love. The people who are close to them, their best friends, their best buddies, their family. You touch them, that's where the S comes with a different totally spirit. And it also makes them a person who's not only steady, but also predictable. They don't try new things. They're very happy with the things they are. Because every time things are different, they are there. Transparent, sometimes, yes. They are transparent with people. They are transparent with people, Mary, if they trust them. If they don't trust them, then they're not. They're just on a listening mode. But either way, they are very trustworthy, no doubt about it. Okay, right, Lalita, I see an S here. Okay, I'll say the combination. So it means, Lalita, by nature, you are reserved. So S is the one when you feel, which means that S are the people who will really take care of their friends and family. So for every decision they make, they need to feel secure about it. It involves too many changes, something very new. They take time. They take time because they just don't jump in because they don't feel secure. They're not the one who want to try new food unless they're comfortable with the people they are. Or somebody trustworthy says, let's go there. Then yes, they will go. And they will do it for the sake of others, not because they want to. So it's more about sake of others people. They're very sacrificial people, very understanding and definitely very friendly. That's why everybody loves them. Everybody's comfortable around them. They feel that, hey, you're my best friend. S are usually the best friends because they're always there for you. And the other personalities love them because they're always the listening ear and they will not judge you. They will not look down on you. They will never break your trust. They're very loyal people. That's how S are. Mary is smiling. All right, now these are the possible weaknesses. Because they resist change, they take time to make decisions. So for them, why I should make a decision, why I should change. If it's working, it's working. Why bother? And that makes sometimes they take time to adjust. New place, new friends, new colleague, new office. They're very hesitant because deep down, they don't even bring things up because they're scared it's going to hurt somebody. Or people might feel offended. People might don't like it. They don't want to hurt people. They don't want to get into a messy things about that's okay. Because they're very self-sacrificial. They're like, it's okay, I can manage somehow. Because they will not complain. Unless it really reaches to the top, they will not. They will somehow adjust with that, and they don't want, because they feel like it's okay. I mean, do we really need the change? Do we really need the change, All right, Mozam, I and C. So you have learned about I, now you will learn about C right after this. Now, when he says holds a grudge, when S gets hurt, they won't let go easily. They won't. Because it's like deep cut for them. It could be as simple as what you have said, your language, the words you have used. It's a deep cut for them, and they hold it dearly to that, especially if their closest ones were hurt by you. They hold it, and they hold it against you, and the grudge is there for a very long time. And it stays for too long because they don't really easily express. For them to express a grudge is again hurting somebody else. So why bother? It's okay. I just maintain my distance. I stop talking to you, and that's enough. I'm fine with that. And you will never find out. You will never find out unless the thing comes up. But usually you will not find out. But how do I sense? S are usually quiet. If they're extra quieter, it means you have hurt them. And everything is like, no, that's fine. That's okay. No problems. No problems. That's fine. I'll manage. If they're very quiet and they're like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. That's okay. Whatever is fine with you. Just means that if they are not even expressing to you genuinely, it means that they have been hurt and they're not okay with you. They will come across as much as possible in a very sensitive way. And that's what they want people to be, right? Because they are sensitive to criticism and they don't want you to criticize them. So these are the people who don't want to be. And I know, Indra. And these are the people who don't want to criticize each other. So they won't criticize and they want you to be sensitive. With D, they won't be. With I, they won't realize it. Okay, that is a problem when S has it. So why can't you be kind enough? Because that's how they are. For D, to get things done is being kind enough and be efficient. For I, if it's not fun, then it's no fun. So being fun, being friendly is kind enough. For S, you are being sensitive. Thanks, Susan. And that's what S is there. Now, that's why they are difficulty establishing priorities. Why? Because most of their things are decided by people around them. They may not say I'm people, they're not people pleaser. But because they're considerate to everybody in the world around them, in their world. They're considerate to people, the children, the family, the sibling, the spouse. They want to be nice to everybody. They don't want to hurt as many people as possible. So guess what? Because they are considering everybody, they have problem establishing priorities. They have problem changing because every change affects somebody and they don't want to get into it. That's why keep it the way it is. C, the final category. These are the people. If you have C, one simple stuff, not only you're reserved, if it is your primary, also because you are very detailed and very organized person, because you're very compliant. You go by the book because you want to be correct. Almost perfect, C are perfect, not almost perfect. They are accurate. They are able to analyze things. So this is high C person. If you have a C is your primary, it means being accurate, being correct. That's the reason Chester, you're into design. Some other people, your profession tells them you're into numbers, you're into accounts or finance or auditing, or even something related to medical, because if it requires you to be detail-oriented, it comes naturally to you to be detail-oriented. And you are a person who is so much into details, so much into facts, you want to follow that. It's deep down in your conscious. Deep down in your conscious. Because for C, for example, D has a fear of people taking control, so they take control. I feel that it has to be fun. So they are in. S is feel for people. Don't hurt them. And that's why they're very feeling oriented person. C are the person, for them, if you do a mistakes, it's a bad thing to do. So no mistakes. And C gets really hurt if they do mistakes or they're found or they're caught doing mistakes, because by right, they won't. They will do their best. These are the people who check their logs 10 times. These are people who check things again and again and again. They are the one who will read the manuals again and again. They are the one who will read all the rule books and everything and highlight things and note things and remember those things, because they believe that by the book, it comes naturally to them. And they're very precise in what they do. And that makes them a person of high standards, which is a good thing. But guess what? They go so much into detail, it bores everybody off, because they believe in the highest standards possible. And they're systematic. So when they're systematic, D loves them because they get things done. S, good friends. I get bored of with C. Right. So if you're a very high I and you have somebody's very high C, your conversation is very boring because I wants to have fun and C are more into details. And remember, I doesn't like details at all, because details are boring for me. D, get things done. They can't wait. S, they will listen to you because they are a good-hearted people and they are soft-hearted. So they will listen to you, even though they're bored. Now, this is final slides for potential weakness for C. Okay. Susan, you're S and D. Yes, you are, Susan. So it means that you're more a people-oriented person. And this secondary, which means that at times when it comes for you to making decisions and jumping in to take the lead, you will take the lead, because for the people's sake and to get things done. J, you are C and D. Yes, which means that numbers, priorities, details are make the decisions for you. So what happens with C? First thing, they need a very clear cut. For example, I used to deal with C. With a C, you cannot tell them as an I personality, I will say, I'll see you about 9 o'clock. C doesn't work. C is like 9, 8:55, 9:05. Very clear. Make it very crystal clear. Around 9 o'clock doesn't work with C. It works with I, it's okay with D, but not with C. And if they tell you 9, they should be there at 8:50. They are late at 8:55. That's how C are. Punctuality matters. Timing matters for them. Again, sometimes in conversations and making decisions, C gets involved so much into details, because for them, more details, better information, better decisions, force everybody around them. But for them, more details. As much details you are giving to a C person, they make better decisions. But that also takes them person who takes too long to make decisions because they're waiting for all the information and they're bogged down by all the details. They are bound by procedures. They have to follow ABC, and it changes. They need to know why. They need to have a logic, something which makes sense to them. If it doesn't make sense to them, they're not changing it. Right. If this club leader is C, I don't think so. It would have been swapped just for the sake of it. It's not really. Okay. Again, by nature, they are not the one who verbalize their feelings. And for them, it's a waste of time to argue. I rather not. Because they are reserved as well. So they're like, that's fine. Whatever you want to do, do it. I'll do what I want to do. I'll do the way I want. They doesn't want to get into details. They get them. Now, when you are into all these four personalities, one of the important things to remember that who you are, right? Why? Because when you are dominant driven, you are not want to hurt people. You just want to get things done because that's the way you care for people. For them, once things are done, it's win-win for everybody. I think differently. For I, journey is more important than destination. What's the point of winning it? What's the point of getting it done if you're not having fun along the way? As in other words, hey, most important people are people. Do things keeping people in mind. And their mind is always, what will people think? What will people feel? Is it hurting anybody? Is it affecting anybody? Does it matter? Does it affect somebody else's lifestyle? So we have to be considerate to that. And see, am I right? I don't care what the world thinks about it. I don't care how you feel about the whole thing. Is it right or not? Now, all these things affect the way you do three things. Number one, it affects your decisions. Why? Because you're deciding based on who you are. Second, it affects your relationships, because what we have heard all this while is that treat people the way you are. Heard of this golden rule? Treat people the way. In DIC, we say it doesn't work. If I am I personality and you are the D personality, don't treat me like D. Treat me as. So in DIC, we learn treat people the way they are. They are, not the way you are, because it doesn't make sense to them. And the third most important part which works is that none of these things are perfect. Each of them has pros and cons. Each of them has strengths and weaknesses. What you have to do is accept that this comes naturally to me and leverage on that and work. Sometimes decision making comes naturally to you. Sometimes speaking comes naturally to you. Sometimes having those details, being organized, being structured comes naturally to you. Use it, leverage it, and leverage on each other. Being a person who people can trust comes naturally to you. Use that in your team and the people you work with. And the most important thing to remember is that none of them is bad as well. Yes, there are weaknesses, but that's how people are. Just like the board of chess, every piece has a strength, so they have weaknesses. If horse can do this, queen can't do that. What queen can do, so horse can't do that. Or the bishop, or the knight. They all are different. The different things, or even the pawn, they have their strengths, and everybody has the strengths, has their limitations. So this DIC shows you that focus on your strengths, outsource your weaknesses. Whatever is your weaknesses, don't try to fix it. Why? You will take a lot more trying to fix it and lose your energy and strength and get exhausted. Why don't you collaborate with somebody else with whom you can fix? Earlier, Michael asked a question, does it change along the way? So for some people, yes, your core doesn't change because that's inside you. But what we learn is that we learn to adapt. If your work environment needs you to be more kind, more aggressive, more analytical, you force yourselves to be that. Guess what? It works, and only at that time. But your core doesn't change. It is who you are. And sometimes if the stretch is too much, that's what causes you stress and tension, because you're pushing too much outside your primary and secondary. For example, if my primary is I, secondary is D, being detail-oriented stresses me out. Can I be? Yes, if it's really needed, I will be. There are times I organize or help friends to get married. I can't do mistakes in this. Somebody's getting married, right? So I have to really be organized. It's not easy for me to find those lists, keep track of all those things. It's so hard for me, but I will do it. That's it. Thank you so much, Susan. And that's how we are there, right? So ladies and gentlemen, discover your strengths and focus on that. And as I said, that collaborate with people who have your weaknesses so that together you can leverage on each other's strengths. So I hope this session was helpful for your personal life and your professional life. Remember what Maxwell said, that to grow yourself, you must know yourself. Thank you so much. And if there are any questions and time allows you to do certain questions, drop the questions and I'll still answer you. Back to you, Toastmaster Jay.
Thank you. It was a really wonderful session and lots of learning we had, Toastmasters Srinivas. Like your idea was doing the test initially made it very engaging, that when you were discussing about all the personality types, we were all ears, because we were trying to learn that what our personality type signifies in terms of strength and weakness. So, and with this wonderful learning, we would like to listen to you more on how to utilize the strength and how to take care of weakness also in hopefully in future sessions also. And we also learned not only about ourselves but also about our Toastmaster members, and I am sure that most of the people will also insist other people around them to do that test, so they would know that whom we are dealing with. So yeah, lots of learning. Thanks, Toastmaster Srinivas. And with that, I think we can move to the session for evaluations. And like we say that feedback is the breakfast of champion. And one thing which makes the Toastmaster awesome is the evaluation session. So let me evaluate all our evaluators, starting with the speech evaluation. I would invite Toastmaster Maya to give the evaluation of speech for Toastmaster Amanda. Over to you, Maya.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Amanda's speech was on grandiose culture of the Nushu village women's writing script, which originated in the 13th century, and she explained how then the men were more superior than the women who were not allowed to take the education. She did it very nicely. I think her body language was very good. And she covered all the points in a very, all the points in a very good thing. One improvement, couple of improvements, what I feel is that she need not introduce herself, because all of us in the meeting room know who the speaker is. And as we have the word of the day, she should integrate the word of the day in her speech while giving the speech. That would make her speech better. And yes, overall it was good. That's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. So for next evaluation, I would like to invite Toastmaster Susan to give the report as a timer.
With pleasure. Our first speaker was Amanda. Her required time, 5 to 7 minutes. She spoke for 6 minutes and 57 seconds. I actually showed the red, but it wasn't there. It was only 6:57. We then went on to table topics. First was Maya, 1 minute, 35 seconds. Second was Diana, 1 minute and 13 seconds. Third was Dee Marie, 1 minute and 32 seconds. And fourth was Donna with 1 minute and 22 seconds. Our keynote speaker was given 60 minutes and he spoke for 55 seconds in excess, but man, that was so on the spot for 60 minutes. Great job. And our evaluator was required time is 2 to 3 minutes. She spoke for 1 minute and 29 seconds. There were no grandiose scores here. Everybody was within time frame.
Thank you, Toastmaster Susan. So for report as a grammarian, I would request Ashwin to give his report.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Jay. 2 people have used the word grandiose. Come on, folks. You can just put it in the chat. You don't need to just say it. I see those smiles. All right. Next time, too bad we're stressed for time a little bit. I would do what Mary Thomas did last time, have everybody make a sentence for you. But I would like to say something really, Amanda, thank you for the great speech. And what stood out really well is, I'm not sure if I say it right. Is it Nushu? Is it NVSHU? How do you say that? Nushu? Okay. You had a quote in there that really was very strong. Nushu remains an important part of Chinese culture, and it represents the resilience and creativity of women. And I thought that was really great. Maya, you said something that was really powerful too. Every day I become a better version of myself. I say that every day in the morning. That's really good. Dee Marie, you also said something that was great. Personality supersedes your IQ. And Donna, you had a lot of words that were really great. Qualified, eloquent. Love your sentence and word usage there. And our keynote speaker, it was the last sentence that really stuck. Grow yourself. You have to know yourself. These words stick to our minds and keep repeating. So that's it for my grammarian report. I know it's not as detailed as Mary Thomas, but I am learning. Thank you very much. And so next time, please use the word because it expands our mind and it gets our grandiose mind. It's expanding. So use it next time. There you go. Thank you. Back to you, Jay, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Ashwin, for very enthusiastic evaluation. So with this, we have completed all the sessions of today's meeting, and I will hand over to Toastmaster Raghu, who is presiding officer, for interaction with the guest and any feedbacks we can take. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Raghu.
Are you able to hear me and see me?
Yes.
Wonderful, thank you. First of all, DTM Srinivas, thank you for gracing us with your presence and also giving this wonderful session. Each one of us had some learning to take it from your session, and hopefully we will grow our personality with the tool that you have mentioned. Thank you very much. Thank you all the guests who have been present here, and also some of you who have left your email ID to be on our guest list. Please keep joining, keep learning. Toastmaster Professional is committed for your professional growth. I would like to invite few of our guests to give feedback on how the meeting went, the meeting proceeding, and also on the session. Can I invite Petra? Do you want to talk about where are you joining from? And also, what did you hear about this session?
Hello, everybody. I am Petra, joining from Thailand, and I'm so lucky to know the trainer, distinguished Toastmasters Srinivas, who gave us the link to this grandiose meeting. And it was such a grandiose presentation. I really love everything about your meeting. The first speaker, I was so impressed and I was so deeply touched by her